Okay, we are live, and yeah, I didn't make an intro yet because I wasn't expecting to do this for 2024. Since besides Dune, I didn't think you wanted to see anything in the theaters for next year.
I didn't, not really. I didn't. Thanks again for being patient. Sorry, had a little family issue I had to deal with.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I I really did not. This kind of came out as a lot of things do. Like I saw something on TikTok or YouTube about it, and um, I just thought this looks awesome.
mm,
So I'm not a big fan of space movies and stuff like that, but I like the idea of it.
that's why I was shocked of all people. Like you're like, hey, you want to go see this? And I just got home from the theater, and I'm like, I didn't. It just didn't occur to me this would be the kind of film on your radar. Like I thought you'd see some shit like Beekeeper, or like or Argyle maybe.
See, I'm not actually interested in either one of those things.
Yeah, that's why it's like, but yeah, like I said, I'm keep using this thing because of freaking hey Regal, you want to keep right here, this fucker, just the 2024 cup. It's only like $3. You can refill unlimited time. So
Oh,
shit.
wow.
Yeah.
So do you just bring that to the theater every time that you go,
Yeah. And
or
you give them like fucking $2. You can so I refilled it like three times already today.
oh, wow.
But yeah, so like I was saying, next time we do this, I will have an intro created. Like I said, after we did
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, it's good, man.
after anyone but you, I'm just like, yeah, we probably won't be doing this for like a 6 months or some shit. And I'm like, so now I officially have an intro that will be ready for next time, whatever next film we pick. So and yeah, so it's a arbitrary time. I probably would have did earlier, but between going on Dark Hours channel, then watching with Lance the last
Oh, were you
Starfight.
are you with Dark Hour today too? I didn't know that.
He did this, it was like a quiz. It was a quiz show, so
Oh, okay.
I said I got home at 8 o'clock in the morning, or whatever, 7 o'clock. I'm freaking running off 2 hours of sleep here. I played some Jedi Fallen Order, then I did 2
I saw
streams,
that. I
my
saw
3rd
that.
yeah, then my 3rd stream, so it's like I'm busy, which is awesome, so I'm not complaining, but yeah, like I said, I always promote other people, and I've been a big fan of Film Threat now, and Chris Gore. I seen Chris Gore review this with his buddy Alan, and I mean, it's not. I think after just walking out of this, talking with you, I don't think there's too much we can talk about because it's the good thing is it's a straight 90-minute film. It's only an hour and a half, so and
Hmm.
it doesn't have a big complicated plot, which is
No, it doesn't.
both a good and a bad thing. But there's no way in hell if somebody could talk about this film for 3 hours, you're a better man than me. I there's no way I could do it.
No, it's pretty short. I like that. I think that was another selling point.
Yeah. So yeah, and the funny part, you mentioned this. I don't honestly remember seeing any kind of fucking promotional. Like I did not see a trailer for this film. You mentioned this yesterday, so I'm like, okay, we'll go see this together, essentially because we're in different states, but we'll go see it basically at the same time. And I'm walking out of the theater and I'm like, yeah, I just watched a trailer for this yesterday. I didn't even know this film was coming out. So I'm like, yeah, it's weird how marketing works out, man. Another January film that I never heard about. So
Yeah. Well, January's not really known for a time of great movies. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like it's not going to be super great. That's kind of where they dump a lot of shit. Um
yeah.
uh but I will say that I think due to the writer strike, just some stuff just got pushed back. So maybe that's the thing. So this is definitely a 2023 movie that got pushed back to 2024. And like you said, it's super short. I don't really like space stuff a whole lot. But this intrigued me because I've always kind of been intrigued. I'm a Florida baby and
Hmm.
grew up in Florida where like NASA's like the big noise down there, NASA and Disney World. And especially in the 80s when I grew up, all the kids thought they were going to be astronauts. I have
Hmm.
like a strange fear of outer space, an irrational fear almost. So like to me, this was sort of like a horror movie a little bit.
Yeah. I'll just
Um,
show because it's obviously not much footage, but I'll just show our basic 6-second clips of the trailer, the way people can see what the
uh-huh.
hell we're talking about. So let's do
Yeah.
the first couple seconds here. Hmm,
Great song. Great song.
yeah. I'll show it right there. So that's our main protagonist. But well, okay, I'll let you break down if you want to. What is the point? Well, technically, it's called ISS, which is International Space Station.
Yep.
What is the plot and synopsis? What the hell is this movie about? And
Yeah.
why do we
So
go see it for?
basically, I think it's a little bit off into the future, or at least it's an alternate timeline of our current day. Either way, the ISS has been up there a long time.
Mm,
It's made lots of appearances in lots of movies, including like famously like Armageddon. So it's just kind of floating around up there,
Yeah.
and what we do with it is us and other countries, usually the U.S. and Russia, will get up there and do, humanitarian experiments, stuff like that, and we'll wind up doing a bunch of, just public relations shit. Can they go up there and live in this confined environment and live and work and stuff like that? Well, two astronauts, one who has been there before and an ex Air Force guy, and then our female protagonist, the former Marine, they come up there and it's her first time up. It's his second or third time up. And they're up there with their commander, who is American, and then three Russians, two men and one female. And basically, they are just doing the whole, hey, we're all doing our own little thing. We're living in these cramped quarters, blah, blah, blah. And after she's there for a couple of days, they wind up seeing that there's a huge nuclear war happening down on Earth. And then I guess they get each government gives
The Russians always knock 3 times. I think it's just a superstition.
the space station for whatever reason. So, and that's basically the plot of the movie. Oh, Chris, your mic is muted. Your mic is muted, brother.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was messing shit in the
That's
background,
okay.
but here's our cast. We have Ariana DeBose, and she plays Dr. Kira Foster. She's the
Yeah.
new person to the space station, and the
Yes.
entire film takes place with just 6 actors, and it's
Yep.
basically 3
Yep.
Americans and 3 Russians. And to my knowledge, Dr. Kira, she's a scientist, and I'd say the first half hour. Hey, what's up, zombie, buddy? Yeah, it's just us two for now. Um, yeah, the first half hour is a setup where she has some mice. She has some mice and she's up there doing experiments as you would in space. We're getting a feel for the characters. Just funny things when they were drinking alcohol. I like the fact where they pop open like the wine there,
Yes.
champagne, and
Yeah.
it's like don't do that quick, and because the alcohol bubbles up and you see the alcohol bubbles and just like slurping it and shit.
Yeah.
And we're just getting a feel for these characters and who they are and what they're here for. I remember taking note that I always laugh in films where isn't it funny how the Russians they're trying to teach us English and stuff, and like we're slowly
Yes.
learning Russian, but like every other country and fucking planet, they know English pretty goddamn well. And why
Yeah.
why as Americans do we have so much trouble learning other language?
Because we're lazy.
So
Because
it's
we're
like,
lazy and we
um,
just assume that we are America has the biggest main character
yeah,
uh, syndrome itis of any other people. We just assume everyone else should learn English.
yeah.
So
I'll show
yeah.
some more of this. Yep. So yeah, that's the premise. Everyone shows up, everybody's happy, and then that's when the shit hits the fan. Hey, Cass, your background is cool, Dad.
Thanks.
So
It's just basically, see, this is like my worst fear. Okay.
yeah,
So here's where my irrational fear of space comes from. So when I was 7 or 8 years old, it was big time. Space and NASA was a big thing. And I remember getting this book gifted to me where they showed that like if something went wrong with the space shuttle or the space station, that like whoever's like wearing one of these suits,
mhm,
right? They could have a person who didn't have enough time to get on a suit get in like this little bubble, and they'd have oxygen for like an hour
mhm,
until they got rescued. And I remember like and it was animated, so they showed you a picture of it, and I remember thinking the person in the bubble thing looked terrified. And I also Space Camp was a big movie when I was a kid,
oh
and
wow, remember that?
Joaquin Phoenix was there's a part where he gets like floating out into space and he tries to grab on to the space station antenna and wind up. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean,
He's like floating towards the moon's gravity and stuff like
mm,
that, and that just terrified the shit out of me. I have no idea. I've never been to space. I've never been in a situation where I would go to space, but
yeah, yeah. Hello.
where I was with that.
Hey, your internet died for about 10 seconds, sir.
Oh, sorry about that. I went into this watching it like it was uh, a horror movie, and that's kind of how I just did it.
Yeah, I'll
So
show some more footage if I can right here. So they're all having a good time partying, they're drinking too. And I did like this scene right here because it's something that, I don't know, it's me being sentimental, but the whole thing, like, hey, listen, you're one of like whatever 20 people in the history of of our species to like look down at the planet. And the one character, Veronica, I mean, I know I said it with a V, but it's actually W, but like Veronica, the
yeah,
Russian scientist, the female,
yeah,
and she
yeah,
said, if you look at our planet objectively, and this is something we go through as people, like look at the planet, you don't see borders, you don't see boundaries, and Jesus Christ, we're sitting there fighting over land and skin color, and like my one friend would say, wars have been started over which country believes in the magical genie in the sky. And
yeah,
when you look down at the planet, like the planet doesn't give a shit about this stuff we war over, and it's definitely the foreboding of what's about to come. So, like you said, I think the first half hour is just getting to know these six different characters. So we do have three Americans, three Russians, two males American, one female, two males Russian, one female.
yeah.
And then about 30 minutes in, that's when our main character, what's her name again? Sorry. Ariana DeBose, she's Kara Foster. She looks down and, hey, look, I think there's some volcanoes going on down there because I'm seeing explosions, and those aren't volcanic explosions. That's something else right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you showing it? Because you
Oh,
still have the IMDb screen up.
shit. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So yeah, right here. So 42 minutes and 42 seconds. Here we go.
What's going on down there? Wait a minute, what the?
Hey guys.
Wait a minute, what the hell is going on down there?
Whoa.
We gotta get up now, guys.
Let's get out.
Yep. So that's when the explosions go off, and come to find out that fucking nuclear war is going on down the planet. So both sets of people, both teams, wind up getting transmissions from America,
Yep.
from Russia, and both governments are like, hey, listen, the bottom line is there's a war going on between America and Russia, and you need to take over the space station at any means necessary. And uh-oh. Um, I mean, we have to talk about some spoilers. I'm not sure how much to spoil because it's a very simple plot, but
I
within the
just say, listen, I don't want to, because everybody can watch anything as quickly as they want to.
Hmm.
I just say, if you want to not, let's just because I don't want to hamstring our review. So I mean, this is just going to be a spoiler review, and I just say we always spoil the movies. So like, if you don't want it, um, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So I just say let's go full spoilers, bro.
Okay.
So
Hey,
everyone knowing full spoilers all
this
the
poor
way.
idiot. He messed up his name, so he keeps changing names. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, the basic first half hour, to their credit, they don't really bullshit too much to get to the point. And so that's the first half hour. The film's an hour and a half. The next hour is the aftermath of like, okay, we start seeing mistrust, we start seeing stuff going on. And I mean, I guess this kind of stuff would happen is that both teams are like, you always got one person who's like, hey, we're all friends, we all care about each other. The other person's like, yeah, we have to start killing the other members of the team because our government told us so. I guess I'm the kind of person where I would, if I was in a situation, I would say realistically, we're like 10,000 miles above the planet. I don't give a shit.
Exactly.
I don't give a shit what's going on down there right now.
Right.
I want to like,
Exactly.
I mean, for all we know, wait, that's a good shot right there. So much of the planet is going on with nuclear war. I want to survive. And when you're in a space station in a very enclosed environment, it's scary to, to like be in a situation and basically, the characters start killing each other off. That's the basic plot. I mean, there's not much more I can elaborate on besides that. I mean, it's what happens.
Yeah. I think that may be, you've just touched on my only flaw in the movie. It's that, if I'm looking out the porthole window and I'm up in space and I see everybody's nuking everybody else, I'm not going to be in a hurry to make my situation up there worse
Yeah,
just out of loyalty for what? Like
exactly.
what am I being loyal to some government that just blew their wad
Yeah,
and just started nuking the other person? I don't care. I'm up in space with these guys. I would have
yeah,
had it been me, I'd have probably just sat everybody down and just said, "Hey, listen, shit's going bad down there. Let's start,"
yeah,
because so much of the plot hinges on misunderstandings and people not having the conversations that they should have.
Mm.
So but I have to be realistic in that may be very well what exactly would happen. That
Let's see.
like that may be something that people would
Yeah.
actually do that with blind loyalty. I mean, you got to remember, people from NASA are almost always military or at least ex-military.
Yeah.
So that's something. But me personally, I have worked with so many different foreign militaries and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
been on bases that were overrun and we were surrounded and we could only count on each other.
Mm.
If my military was like, "Hey, those guys that you're working with from the Kurdish army, don't trust them. You can't." I'd be like, "You know what? Fuck you, dude. You're not here with me right now.
Yeah.
I got to do what's best for me and the people that are with me."
Yeah. The trailer shows. I'm pretty sure they show the transmission here, and let's see.
War has broken out below, and we were told to take the I.S.S. by any means necessary.
If we got orders from our government to take control,
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
It's like, yeah, like you said. I mean, that's like that was my main, I guess, concern looking at that. So, and I mean, I hate to say it, yeah, plot wise, that's at some point, because I didn't get the whole rat thing. So said Dr. Kira, she brings up some mice. As I say rats, but
Yeah.
mice. At one point, the
Mice, yeah.
mice are they biting each other, or they're getting sick?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so the mice
Yes.
are biting each other and like they're hurting
Yes.
each other. At one
Yes.
point, says we have to euthanize them, but like
Yes.
I didn't get what was the point of that.
What was the point of her euthanizing him, or
Well,
what was the
well,
whole point of the mice thing
Yeah,
in general?
in general, because
So in general,
she's
so
a
the mice
scientist.
are like an allegory for the astronauts. So
Okay.
like the mice are being brought into this like really bad environment. They can't, they don't know how to react. That one Russian dude whose name I can't pronounce, the one that winds up actually being cool, that was on Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, he
He,
plays let's see, is that Alexi? Yeah, Alexi is
I'm wanting to say maybe it's Alexi. Yeah.
yeah, it's like
The
Pilo,
one that
yeah.
survives. Spoiler alert: the one that
Yeah,
survives.
Alexi.
He even tells her like, and he seems like he's going to be the most hostile one.
Mm,
And he even tells her, he's like, people have brought animals up here before, and that it never ends well. And then so yeah, them biting each other, because they're floating around and they don't have any good direction. That's something they would actually, that might actually happen, and that's of course what the astronauts in their own way, they start biting at each other.
mm,
There's some casualties, obviously self-inflicted on each other, and then at the end, if you recall, Alexi builds the mice the little mesh thing inside their habitat, so
yes.
that the things. And he says, she's like, "You built this for me," and he says, "Yeah, it's better when you have something to hold on to."
Mm,
And so that's an allegory of the two of them working with each other, in order to hey, how are you? Cheers, everybody in chat. Thank you so much for doing this late at
oh
night
yeah,
on a
here you
Saturday
go, Senator Craig. What's
when
up, buddy?
I know you have better stuff to do. Listen to us talk about this movie. But yeah, it's definitely something that is, you pair it off as what they are experiencing is like what the mice are experiencing.
Yeah, I'll show
So,
some
and
more
then
here.
the
Sorry.
solution. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna show a couple more seconds.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, that's a character. Gordon there. So yeah, it's as as these characters are going outside. And like so basically the plot that I got later on was that both governments up there inside the space station, they basically find a way to have a cure for radiation sickness.
Mm,
And that becomes very important because at some point, well, these guys have to go back down to Earth, and it comes down to which team wants to have the cure for the radiation sickness that they may
right.
need down back on Earth. And there's not too much more. I mean, said plot wise, it's not saying it's bad, but it's pretty thin. I mean, it's just like because the whole film only has 6 actors, and the
Yeah,
entire
no, it's
film,
a very basic, bared down plot.
yeah,
I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm
you
totally
know,
okay with that.
and I
You
mean,
know.
besides the 6 of them being an entire thing takes place on the space station, there's not much else going on with that. There's nothing supernatural, nothing alien. It's just a basically, yeah, a survival of like who's going to turn on each other, what friendships will be tested, and yeah, I mean, it's like it was okay in a sense. There's not much more we can really elaborate on. I mean, everything, hate to say it, but everything you see in the trailer is the movie. I mean, uh, but yeah, I mean, not much more. I don't know what else you want to elaborate on besides. I mean, I seen people say someone like Chris Gore do a 10-minute review. A film like this, it's like Beekeeper. I couldn't tell you much about Beekeeper besides more of a 10-minute review. I couldn't do an hour Beekeeper review. There's not big enough of a plot. Jason Statham kills a bunch of bad guys that wronged a woman.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I mean it's like one of those cool Saturday afternoon matinee type films, isn't it? It's one of the well, I mean, yeah, that's how I would define it. It's
did you
not
feel?
anything that really blew me away. None of the actors really stood up to me. I don't know. I could have done without the fact that, the main protagonist is a, ethnic female
Yeah,
of a certain color who also happens to be gay. I could have done without that.
that's what I wanted to ask
But
you about because that's what Chris Gore said. He goes, "There's a couple lines right there that they could have taken out that didn't
yeah,
have to be there," and it's
no,
a
but I mean, if we're being honest, I don't know. Female Marines tend to slide towards gay, so that's not
yeah.
exactly abnormal.
But it's
But
just it's just the whole
I
point
could have
that
done without it. I
with the
could have
whole
done without it.
lecturing too, it's like it feels like, it's because people are talking about their families. Most people got families. They have wives and kids back home. And
Yeah,
at one point, like the whole like, oh, I'm sorry, like I didn't mean to like misgender you, or I didn't mean to assume, and like the whole like apologizing for
yeah.
assuming she had a husband. No, I'm actually gay. Like,
Well, I don't really feel like they beat us over the head with that.
yeah,
It was okay. It wasn't anything that like it didn't completely pull me out of the movie. I did
yeah,
really like Alexi's character, how he has kind of, his loyalty. He's supposed to like shut off their communication, and he struggles to do that. And then the other guy that seems like he's really nice. If you remember, the one that's the really bad Russian guy, I can't pronounce his name, but
yeah. That's got
he
played. That was Nikolai.
yeah, he actually, if you remember, he's him and Chris Messina's character, the American commander. He was
Yeah,
actually talking to him about like, let's go chill out in, near my farm in, Uzbekistan or whatever the fuck. And like they were actually good friends. So like the fact that he just turned on a dime as soon as Mother Russia said, "Hey, whack out these
yeah.
Americans." That's pretty interesting. I did.
Oh, well, you're cutting off again. I'll let you come back. But that's the thing with these characters in the first half hour. You start seeing that there are friendships because these characters from Dr. Kira, she's new to the space station. But a few of these guys, they've been here for a while. We're not sure if it's been 5 months, 6 months, could be a year, but there have been some long-standing friendships, and you feel like these people. You figure you're with these people 24/7, and you're stuck inside of a big metal tube above the planet and shit. You're floating around, and it's like you guys become pretty close considering you're stuck with these people every second of the day, except if you want to have some downtime and go sleep or something and use the bathroom. So when the time comes where your government and their government are saying, hey, betray each other, you start questioning yourself like, yeah, do I betray somebody who's been my best friend for the past year, for my government, from orders from a computer screen? And Lord Toxic's gone. I'll wait till he comes back. And yeah, I mean, it's not a too deep dive on the human development and characters and stuff, but it would make you question things like how loyal are you to your government versus your friends? And it sucks. But I'll show some more trailer footage because until he gets back, I said, but the trailer, basically everything you need to know, it's right here in the trailer. Not saying it's bad, but you know, it turns out in space they can't hear you scream. This isn't Alien, guys. Don't blow it up like. I mean, yes, that shot right there, nice shot of the planet and stuff, and like the burning of nuclear war. But this whole like they can hear you scream, like this isn't a freaking horror film. It's just come on. But the promo's trying to get it out there and shit.
Oh, truly, we're evolved species.
Yeah, but are we though? Are we actually evolved species? And to give Toxic a little bit more time. But I mean, besides we're at 25 minutes, I mean, maybe for like 3 or 4 more minutes we can kill. Cause again, it's like not that big of a plot I can really tell you guys about. You there?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
here. Can you hear me?
yeah, I'll show a couple more. I was showing everybody a couple more trailer shots, everything we've already talked about.
Sorry,
But
I'm breathing
yeah,
outside
so
and it's
they're
starting to
fighting.
dick around with my internet a little bit.
Yeah. And that's honestly the trailer is basically the film for you. It's like I would
It
it's
is.
almost like
It
it's
is.
almost like some people would say it feels like, and there's some movies I've seen out there where they could be a 45-minute episode of a TV show that they really kind of pad the time and with the
Yeah.
material and the dialogue they had, they could have shaved, I think, a lot off, and this could have been a really good. It makes you wonder if, like, give me like whatever, a Black Mirror type TV series, and just have this be like one episode
Okay.
and like whatever, like a Twilight Zone or something, or Black Mirror. But um, I just feel like they really had to pad out the runtime because you've kind of seen everything before. It's nothing new in a sense. I mean, they're trapped up in space, but you could say the same thing about a ship or about like a navy vessel or just or an airplane. You know,
Yeah.
they just happen to have a space station.
Yeah. Again, though, I still I like it for all of that. I like the fact that it kept me entertained. You know how I have that problem when I go to the theater, I get relaxed and I start falling asleep. I didn't fall asleep in this one. It kept me engaged through the whole thing, and like you said, it was short and sweet. And sometimes I'm in the mood for something with like very small amount of plot. So I guess the question is like, where do you come out? Like, what's your I- what's
Yeah.
your three questions you always ask on the
Okay, yeah.
the
Number one is how do I feel about it? Actually,
yep.
not my question. Number two is do I think that you should see it? But like I said,
Yep.
I didn't pay for it because it was a $15 ticket. But do
Right.
I think other people should pay for it? So how do I feel about it? I mean, yeah, I didn't hate it in a sense, but it wasn't something that like I couldn't see myself watching it again anytime soon, just because
Uh-huh.
it's very basic and not like it's a bad thing, but yeah, I'm a kind of idiot that will probably watch Dune 2 like a couple times. I want to see more Godzilla.
Sure, sure,
John
sure,
John
sure.
John Wick. Do I think other people should see it? Like other people have said, because I'm a fan of other YouTubers and stuff. Like it's a good Saturday matinee kind of film, not offensively
Yes.
bad. A couple of the woke shit, like you said, a couple throwaway lines does not destroy an entire film for me. But
Mhm.
do I think people should see it? I mean, I would honestly, I'd probably rent it. I mean, some of the shots are pretty good for a matinee, like in a big screen, but like I didn't feel maybe I'm more action packed, you know, like I want to see big action
Yeah.
set pieces and stuff that I wouldn't rush at. Like if it's an IMAX, I don't think there's enough big shots going there for an IMAX showing. I definitely would say rent it. It's definitely a good rental, possibly a matinee like on Tuesday or something. Like I said, we have Regal like 5 hour Tuesdays. $5 on a Tuesday, take your kid
Yeah,
out or
if you
something.
have that yeah, if you have the app, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or like, it's a Saturday, say there's a Sunday matinee in your area, Sunday matinee for like $6 or $7. It's, I think it's a pretty good matinee afternoon film.
Okay.
So I mean that's that basically I can't say much more about it. It's just such a simple
Yeah.
premise, which I'm not complaining about, but I can't elaborate
You
anything else.
know, realistically, we should be able to be doing a low bar review once a week at least on a movie, but honestly, this is so few and far between that we're not able to. So,
Yeah.
I would definitely give it a recommend.
Okay.
I base my recommends on watchability and rewatchability.
Mm.
It's definitely a watchable movie. It's probably not a rewatchable movie. I would not care to watch it again. But it was worth my time. It was worth the ticket price. I mean, of course, I used my Regal app, but it was worth all of that. Um, I did not fall asleep during it, and yeah, we'll definitely do that. It's
Yeah.
definitely something that I would recommend if you're going for like you're like, hey, you want a date night? I'm gonna go watch a movie. I would definitely give it that recommend. Would I recommend be like, oh man, I gotta watch this thing again, like Oppenheimer or something like that? Probably not.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm not even gonna say probably. I would not. None of the characters really stood out for me. They're not like nobody's performance was that super great. But yeah,
You
definitely. We'll
wanna
definitely do that,
you
Cass.
want you want your baby girl on? I
Yeah,
listen, I
yeah, we can
no,
definitely
but
do that.
listen, by all means, you're more than welcome. He just said we don't this wasn't planned out. Like it said, with your dad, if he goes, hey, I want to go see whatever, Argyle, or he wants to see Godzilla -1, the black and white version, or whatever you pick, I don't mind doing this more often. It comes down to how what movies he has access to and times and things. But yeah,
Yeah, you have to also remember he lives in New York and I live in Kansas, so
yeah.
it's like blue collar. Not only with his app, he's able to see pretty much what he wants to.
Oh yeah.
But it's also that he has access to more movies than I do.
Oh yeah, like I
'Cause
said,
I have like
right
an
now
8
I
screen
have I
theater.
have Crossgate Cinema, Colony Center Mall, Rotterdam Clifton Park. I have four major malls all within 15 minutes of my house. So it's
Yeah,
not,
no, unless I
you
take
know.
a 45-minute drive out to Kansas City, I got to go with what I have here. So,
Oh, honestly, I mean, I like even my kid I'd bring him on because he's done videos with me. Even he's like, Dad, he's like, yeah, I'll kind of wait for it. Like he wants to see Argyle because he likes Henry Cavill. You know,
Okay, well, that's cool.
but
Yeah, Henry Cavill's awesome.
oh, yeah,
But yeah, no, I did. This was the first thing that like actually struck out to me. You know, I'm a child of the Cold War. I'm a child of the NASA program.
yeah,
I've always been intrigued by the space station thing, and like I said, I went into it watching it like it was a horror movie, and
mm,
I definitely have some like some stuff is definitely very questionable. Besides the
mm,
little bit of woke shit, I definitely like these guys just like going after one another and killing each other. It just seems so like turning on a dime, where everything could have been settled with a conversation.
yeah.
Um,
But then again, you
but
wouldn't
I
have.
did like
But
the
then that's a problem. If there wasn't a
then we wouldn't have
conflict,
had a
though,
movie.
it's like
Yeah,
actually after the first half hour, you'd have 5 minutes of talking, and then like, hey guys, so for the next hour, we're gonna sit here. There's nothing. So
yeah,
to their credit, you have to have a conflict because then what would be the freaking point? Like,
sure.
so
I might have done something like had these guys work together because
mm,
both entities are trying to like blow up the space station or some shit like that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Or like use the space station to do some kind of an attack or something. And they kind of had kind of touched on that a little bit because they started making the space station. They shut down the propulsion system,
yeah,
either by accident or by design, and so the thing was going to be falling to Earth anyways. So now, whether or not, like I said, that was on purpose, done by or the fact that like so much of the infrastructure has been wiped out in the nuclear holocaust that's going on down there.
yeah,
I didn't mind how it ended. I think it, with something like that, like, do you really need to see, like with the movie Gravity, where we
mm,
actually watch Sandra Bullock hit the shores of Vietnam and stuff like that? I'm just like, I didn't
yeah,
need to see that. Like, it's just like I get it. They're gonna make
yeah,
it to the home. I don't need to know the story after that. Like,
yeah.
it's really up in the air.
Yeah,
So
I mean, definitely, I think basically talking out of two of us, I would say you liked it better than I did. Like I said, I
yeah,
didn't
that's
hate
two
it.
for two. That's two
Yeah.
for two now.
And our buddy Enzo, eventually I'm gonna get like a graphic on because so like we said, since this was kind of your idea in the sense to make like the whole bar thing, we said, our rating system would be like above the bar, at the bar,
Right.
or like below the
Right.
bar. So
Yeah.
for me, it's just said I'm teetering. It's right at the
Slightly
bar.
below.
It's I'd say
Oh, is it?
slightly.
Okay.
It's like Chris Gore would say. He goes, I didn't have a bad time with it, but like, yeah, I wouldn't be telling everybody go rush out and see this, or like you said,
Right.
I'm not in a big rush watching anytime soon. But it wasn't
Yeah.
like offensively bad. I just feel overall I put it a little bit below the bar because and you were there for an hour, even an hour and a half runtime, you probably could have shaved some stuff down. It just feels like a good 45-minute episode of a TV show.
I'll agree with that. I would put this at like right at the bar.
Okay.
So it's worth seeing. My two correct my you have your three questions. I have my
Yeah.
two criteria. Is it watchable and is it rewatchable? It's definitely watchable. It's not rewatchable.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, well, I guess you could say I have a three-tier system too, because I
Hey.
guess you could make an argument that I have it's unwatchable. If it was unwatchable, I would tell you. So it's not something that's like really catch it. And really I would be lying if I didn't say that some of this has to do with the fact that I grew up as a Cold War era kid. And I'm kind of fascinated with Russian culture. So that's definitely something that I took into account. So I might have enjoyed it a little bit more than you, or more than the average person due to that. But again, it's a right at the bar, not
Yeah.
above.
We'll
It's
definitely make a new rating system next time we go on, and we'll have an
Yeah,
intro. It'll
for
be a
sure.
more professional setup.
Yeah, but it's right at the bar, and it's definitely something that's good.
Basically, Caster, the thing is like, you mean your dad or anybody is like, I literally just said, I still have my Regal cup. I just got out of the theater. So we like having like Equalizer 3.
Right.
Me and him just got, I think we're like an hour difference, but like we
Yeah.
just got home and like it's kind of the reactionary thing.
Yeah,
So
Cass actually watched Equalizer 3 with me.
nice. See, there you go. And like, I think was Yumi, like I seen like an hour and a half after you, but like, we're basically coming home together, just
Right.
watching something. So it's like not scripted. We're doing it. That's why we're calling it low bar for. So,
Right.
um,
Right.
yeah.
Keeping that bar low.
And with 2024, it's kind of hard because not a lot's coming out this year.
No, I mean,
So,
like I said, ideally, this should be a thing that we're able to do every single week. There should be at least
yeah,
one movie a week worth going to see. And it's not, is it? I mean, I know you pretty much see everything because for your channel and stuff like
yeah,
that. and you just love movies. And I get it. I love going to the movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, there's just not that much out that I would
Well, I can tell
I
you,
would go see.
in a month we have Ordinary Angels, and just because Reacher's in, I'm going to see that.
Oh, right. That's like
Hey,
one of those Christ movies or whatever.
hey, you know what? But he's in it, so it's him and Hilary Swank. I'm fine with
Okay.
that. As
Okay. Yeah.
long as
Now,
if Reacher's in, I'm going.
yeah, he's probably not cracking as many skulls in that one as
He doesn't have to.
he ordinarily does, but you
All right.
know.
Yeah. So thanks, guys. I mean, said this is I think we padded it more than we wanted to,
Yeah.
but we
Sorry
will
about the
try.
technical difficulties, but it
Yeah.
is below freezing out here. So
Yeah, we will try to do this a lot more often. It just depends on whatever. There could be a lot of movies. Plus, I noticed in my Regal app, the Regal app right here coming soon. There's a lot of stuff that in 2023 I never even heard about. That wasn't like The Covenant. The Covenant wasn't even on the freaking app, and that came out.
yeah.
So there could be a lot of films this year that we're not expecting. We just don't know about yet. Besides Dune and Argyle, I'm not sure what else is coming out this year, but we'll figure it out. So
All right. Thanks again, guys. We
yeah. So
appreciate you keeping that
next time
bar low with us.
we'll get more professional.